Filmed from home, it's almost live with Shirley and Dan. Hello from home again. I'm Dan Days.
And I'm Countess Shirley Herschel Leibowitz Goldberg Hernandez Dracula.
Wow, Shirley, it looks like you and the Count really...
Eugene.
Right, Eugene. It sounds like you and Eugene, really hit it off.
You bet we did. The wedding was a beautiful midnight affair. It was a full moon on the beach.
The beach? Shirley, you didn't go to the beach. Surely you didn't leave your house. It's dangerous out there. The COVID is out there. Murder hornets, locusts, floods, and fires. They're all out there.
Dan, pull yourself together.
Thanks, Shirley. I needed that. I'm sorry, it's just, this is week 19 of the quarantine, and I haven't left my house. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm having all of my groceries are delivered, and my meals, I'm having those delivered. I'm even afraid to go outside and check my mail. My packages from Amazon are starting to pile up on my front porch because I know that the boxes are covered with the COVID.
Dan, just look at you. You're a mess. You haven't shaved. God, you need a haircut. You look like you haven't slept in a week. What's wrong with you?
9 days.
Oh.
I try. I do. It's just the terrors. The night terrors and then there's day terrors. I can feel the virus eating me from the inside out. Everything scares me. Folks, I'm afraid this might be our last show.
Dan, we're on. Welcome to Almost Live with Shirley and...
Me, Dan.
Shirley and...
Dan. Oh my. I look hideous. Welcome to Almost Live. I'm Dan Days.
And I'm Countess Shirley Herschel Leibowitz Goldberg Hernandez Dracula.
Well, Shirley, sounds like you had a romantic wedding on the beach, Shirley. But I just have 2 questions for you. Why wasn't I invited? And what happened to Enrique?
Well, Dan, I mailed you an invite, but apparently you hadn't been checking your mail either. As for Enrique, that no good Mashugana Schmendrick left me for a younger woman.
I'm sorry to hear that, Shirley. How young was she?
62.
Okay. Well, as you know, Almost Live is sponsored by the Sick Foundation. Seniors in Quarantine provide necessities for seniors in quarantine.
That's right. It's essential that our seniors have free delivery for Postmates, a subscription to Netflix, and a membership to Pornhub.
Well, our first guest is a new member of SICK and is here to aid in our fundraising efforts. Please welcome Annie O'Connell.
Hello, Shirley and Dan. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I am sick, and I am proud to be sick.
Amen, sister.
Many of the members of SICK all over the country have been protesting the unlawful representation of seniors. Thousands of us have been wearing our masks and marching through the streets in protest. Our founder, Gladys Marie Hossenpfeffer, age 94, once had a dream that all seniors could pee 15 times a day without ridicule. A dream that old didn't mean dead. A dream that we didn't forget whether we took our meds or not. That seniors could live in a world where they remembered where they lived. That we are a people who have the right to have dinner at 4 p.m. We may not be the future, but we sure as hell are history. It ain't so much a question of not knowing what to do. The rules are laid out plain as plain can be. I heard a lot of stories about this virus going round, and I don't even know if they are true. I wash my hands so I will not catch it. Got so much TP now, I can shit. I'm just a girl who can't stay home. I'm having terrible luck. This quarantine says I can't go just when I want to go. When a person tries to kiss me now, I know I ought to give his face a smack, but that is now impossible because he has to go stand 6 feet back. At our age, we don't need no glove. Just sanitize your hands. I don't want to get sick, but I gotta get me some dick. I can't stay home.
Well, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
I really liked her, and I loved her song. She's got chutzpah.
Are you occasionally plagued with chronic hiccups?
Oy vey. Yes.
Are you embarrassed by your constant flatulence?
Who, me?
If you responded in the affirmative,
Affirmative? Does that mean yes?
yes, then Metroxidol is for you. Metroxidol is your daily medicinal supplement for people 55 and older. Metroxidol will free you from those occasional hiccups and embarrassing flatulence and those pesky aches and pains.
Are you kidding me? Aches and pains are my best friends and constant companions.
Check with your physician to see if Metroxidol is right for you.
Some side effects related to the use of metroxidol are, but are not limited to, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, insomnia, fatigue, diarrhea, constipation, depression, anxiety, skin rash, dry mouth, constant drooling, headache, suicidal thoughts, abnormal heart rhythm, internal bleeding, bleeding from the eyes, drop in sex drive, early menopause, loss of appetite, obesity, loss of hair, excessive hair growth, loss of vision, loss of hearing, or in not so rare cases, death. So if you think metroxidol can help you, contact your doctor today.
Thanks, Metroxidol.
Now we can enjoy our best years together.
Not FDA approved and not covered by most or any insurance providers. Welcome back to Almost Live.
You know, Dan, people all over the world have been taking classes online during this time and trying new things. I recently discovered that I had an interest in painting, so I enrolled in an online class, and I found out that I've got a real talent.
Wow, Shirley, I had no idea you had any talent at all. That's fantastic.
Well, the woman who was teaching the class actually lives in my community. She's very talented and a very gifted artist, and she's been sharing her passion all over the city. Let's welcome Mary Beth McFall. Hi, Mary Beth. Welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you on Almost Live.
So,
Thank you for inviting me.
Mary Beth, let's get to know you. Can you tell us how you got started as an artist?
Well, it's kind of a long story. I always loved art as a child. I did a lot of summer camp and after school programs, but I was also a very serious student. So in college, I studied science. I was a biology major, but I always took art in the evening. I was taking a painting class, and I ended up getting into art after I completed my biology degree. I went back to school and studied art and took studio classes at Saddleback College and Long Beach State.
Oh. Well, you know, I loved taking that painting class with you. You really brought out the artist in me. So tell us, when did you start teaching?
Well, I focused in watercolor for quite some time. I actually got into teaching because when I was raising my family, I have 5 boys, I needed something that I could do part-time. So I was teaching the Art Masters program, which is the art program that goes from school to school. And I could choose my hours. And I decided at that point that I really did enjoy teaching art. So when my kids were old enough they're in high school age, I went back to school and got my credentials so that I could teach and have my own classroom. And I taught at Newhart Middle School for about 8 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you have a favorite method or medium that you like to use?
Well, I do prefer watercolor. I like the fact that it's easy to paint for an hour and then go away and do something. Maybe I need to cook dinner or pick up the kids at school, and then I can get right back to it. With oils and acrylics, the setup and cleanup is a lot more difficult. However, watercolor is the most challenging medium because you can't really make corrections. You end up either accepting the painting and loving it the way it is, or starting over. I also like it because you have to go with the flow. With watercolor, you sometimes just allow those happy accidents to occur.
Go with the flow. I love that. We understand that you've been doing some inspiring work around town called performance art. Would you tell us about that?
Yes, I also got into street painting, which is pastels in the street. It's a performance art, meaning that it's not something that you frame and keep. The purpose of it is for people to be able to see art being made. And I perform in festivals all over the country now.
Wow.
Wow.
That is amazing.
I've seen your work around town, Mary Beth. The butterflies, so beautiful. But tell me, other than on the street, where could people see your work?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. My work is displayed at the Cove Gallery in Laguna Beach currently.
Well,
So I have watercolors displayed there. I did you mentioned the butterfly series during this quarantine where we can't really go to festivals and big events where there are gatherings of people. I decided to do some street paintings just in my community, and I used the butterfly and quotes about the butterfly because I was thinking about the metamorphosis and the isolation and the loneliness that a cocoon or a caterpillar experiences, and then they come out as a beautiful cat or a butterfly. So I'm hoping that maybe after this whole COVID-19 period and quarantine that we will all emerge better in some way.
Well, it was beautiful and so inspirational. Thank you so much.
thank you for being here. We're so excited because you brought something special for us to watch that shows your fabulous artistic talents and skills. Let's roll the clip.
All right. Thank you for having me. I hope you enjoyed that little time-lapse video. It went really fast, and when I showed my friends, they said, "Do you really paint that fast?" And I said, "Well, no, actually, it took me 4 hours to complete this painting." It's 14 by 20 inch on a 300-pound watercolor paper. but may I add the quote that goes along with this painting? And the quote is, "When the spirit of nature touches us, our hearts turn into a butterfly."
Oh, that is just so beautiful. Well, we just want to thank you so much for being our very special guest today, Mary Beth. And keep painting and keep laughing, keep loving, and I'll see you in class.
All right, and you keep up the good work. Thank you for having me. I love your show.
Bye, Mary Beth.
Bye-bye.
I'm very excited about our next guest, Shirley. She is a world-renowned psychic from Hoboken, New Jersey. Let's welcome Miss Ethel Latruce.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Shirley. Dan, I predict this will be your highest rated show ever.
Oh, yeah? Well, maybe we'll finally raise our viewer count to 12.
Oh, Shirley. But seriously, we are honored to have you on our show, Miss Latruce.
So could you tell us, please, how long have you been psychicking?
It's a gift that I inherited from my grandmother. She had a very strong connection to the spirit world. When I was a little girl, I once predicted that my pet goldfish would die.
Everyone's pet goldfish dies. That doesn't seem like much of a prediction.
It wasn't the death that I predicted as much as the way the little flipper died. You see, I saw a vision of my little brother running through the house with his yo-yo. In my vision, the cat Geraldo became scared of the yo-yo, jumped up so high, he knocked over the lamp, which caused a spark, and lit the curtains on fire. The entire house went up in flames. When the firemen came to put out the fire, I could see in my vision that they were spraying water everywhere. The water filled my childhood home up completely. There was nowhere to go. Water everywhere, everywhere. So you see, I knew that little flipper would drown.
Well, that's horrible. So you're saying that you lost your home in a fire?
No. One day when I came home from school, I found little flipper belly up in his bowl. So you see, he had drowned. I knew it. It was the moment that I knew I was gifted.
Well, that doesn't prove anything.
Oh, Madame Latruce, that is amazing, just amazing. I have a question for you. Can you read my palm? I've always wanted my palm read.
Of course. Hold your palm up so I can see it. Ah, very interesting. Your love line has many variances to it, branches, if you will. It seems to intercept your marriage line.
Wow.
It would seem that you have had or will have many loves in your life.
Oh my God, that's amazing. How did you know that?
The lines, darling, the lines. But wait, your lifeline is longer than I've ever seen before. It shows here that your life is eternal. But how can that be? I have never seen this before.
Well, you see, I always wanted to meet a man that would make me feel like I could live forever. And recently, I married my 5th husband, and because of him, now I can.
Yes, I see that. You're next, Dan.
Oh, no. I don't believe in that.
Mumbo jumbo? I knew you were going to say that. Hold up your hand, Dan.
Surely there's nothing to this, Shirley. You'll see.
Your middle name is Francis. You have a birthmark on your left butt cheek in the shape of Alaska. Your first kiss was your cousin Marcy. You once lost a toy car that had to be surgically removed. Do you want me to tell you where they removed it from?
No. That'll do.
Wait, I saw something else. Your lifeline. It was so short.
I knew it! I'm gonna die! I have the COVID! I knew I shouldn't have ordered Kung Pao from that place on the corner! The delivery man wasn't wearing a mask. I think I touched his hand when I tipped him. I have the COVID! I have the COVID! Thank you, Miss Latruse. I needed that.
Do you believe now, Dan?
I surely do, Shirley. I surely do.
Wait. One more thing. I'm getting something. I'm seeing something. A letter. Oh. Do either of you know someone with the letter O in their name?
Oh. Mom! Is it Mom? Did she die?
No, wait. A jewel. I see a jewel. Shiny and iridescent like an opal. Does this mean anything to you?
An opal? No, I don't know anyone named... Wait a minute. Could it be Madame Opal? The opera singer who turned rapper?
Oh my God! Did she die?
No. But I do believe her aura is coming through. She has a message. She has something to say. No. She has something to sing. When you walk through the store, keep your mask on tight. And don't come any closer than 6 feet. At the end of the aisle, you'll begin to smile, 'cause the shelves are all stocked with TP. Walk on through the store, 'cause you have to buy more, since they don't let us in before dawn. Walk on, with eggs in your cart, but you have to walk alone. You have to walk on, with eggs in your cart, but you have to walk alone. You have to walk alone.
OMG, that was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Shirley Dan, thank you very much for having me on your show. I'd love to stay, but I'm being summoned.
Is it another spirit from the great beyond?
No, it's my husband telling me it's time for The Masked Singer. I love that show.
Me too.
I predict that the muskrat is Richard Simmons.
So Dan, that surely was illuminating.
It surely was, Shirley. It surely was. But did you know that some people have called you and I the new George and Gracie? We've been compared to some of the great comedy teams such as Jackie Gleason and Audrey Meadows, Desi and Lucy, Fred and Wilma.
Well, that's great, Dan. And you know what? Our ratings have been skyrocketing and the reviews are top notch. But when it comes to comedy duos, my all-time favorite was the comedy team of Abbott and Costello.
Well, there is no greater comedy bit than the famous Who's on First. But Shirley, did you know that Abbott and Costello weren't the first ones to perform that bit? That's
Really?
right. That's right. It was actually written by another famous comedic duo, Laurel and Hardy.
Wow.
Unfortunately, they never performed it on stage. But I do, however, happen to have a piece of Hollywood gold. I have a clip of footage thought to have been lost in the Hollywood archives. It's footage of Laurel and Hardy rehearsing the famous comedy bit, Who's on First? Let's take a look.
Hey, Oliver.
Oh, hey, the manager of our baseball team wants you and me to coach the team next season.
Oh, look, Ollie, you're already a coach. You must know all the names.
I certainly do.
You'll have to tell me their names then, so I know who's playing on the team.
Well, you know, ball teams give their players unusual names. You know, nicknames?
Nicknames?
Yes. Well, let's see. Now on our team, who's on first? What's on second? I don't know what's on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellows on the St. Louis team.
I'm telling you, Stan. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know is on third.
You know the fellows' names.
Yes.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The fellow playing first base.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you, Stan. I'm telling you who is on first.
And I'm asking you, who's on first?
That's the man's name.
It's whose name?
Yes.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it, and why not? The man's entitled to it.
Who is?
Yes.
So who gets it?
Why shouldn't he? Sometimes his wife comes down and picks up the check.
Whose wife?
Yes, after all, a man earns it.
Who does?
Absolutely.
Well, all I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
Oh, no. What is the guy's name on second base?
Oliver, I'm so confused. This bit doesn't seem to make much sense at all.
That's the point, Stan. You see, who is the name of the ball player on first base? And in turn, what is the name of the ball player who's on second base?
But you see, Ollie, that's what I'm getting at. This audience will never know the names of the ball players.
Those are the names, Stan. I'm trying to tell you, this is a good bit. I've been writing in this bit for months. This is going to be our big comeback.
Oliver, I just don't get it.
Oh, you never will. You never get anything. You never get anything. I'm the brains of this outfit.
I'm sorry, Oliver. I'm sorry. Let me try again. Who's on the team?
No. It's who's on first. Oh, what a fine mess you got us into this time. I quit.
You can't quit. You can't quit because I quit.
Yes, but who quit first?
I'm sorry, Ollie. I'm sorry, Ollie.
Well, that will do it for this segment of Almost Live with Shirley and Dan. Keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep loving.
Tune in next time, and remember, we're not
Not dead yet. Almost Live with Shirley and Dan do not condone bad language. They use it, they just don't condone it. For more information on Mary Beth McFall's paintings, including the one seen on this show, visit CoveGalleryLaguna.com. If you're interested in a psychic reading, don't bother calling Ethel Latruce. She's a fake. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Star Quality Productions is currently operating under the name Star Quarantine Productions, same production company without the quality. Almost Live with Shirley and Dan is a Star Quarantine Productions movie.